Hi, hope you guys are doing well. It's time for our episode 9 Q&A, and without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. Juan asks, if he were sent alone, do you think Aemond would have thought about killing Aegon? I don't think so, and the way House of the Dragon portrays Aemond, it's quite layered. If they would turn him into a classic villain, for example similar to Joffrey or Ramsay, it's just a bit comical. We keep preaching about grey characters, how we have two sides in the story, both are doing horrible stuff. If the Greens have a rapist as king and his brother is gonna turn into a Joffrey type character, there's just no chance that you could possibly root for the Greens. So I don't think so. With them portraying Aegon as bad as quickly as they're doing it now, they have to do Aemond justice. They have to give him some layers, and I like that he's well educated. I like that he is actually quite ambitious. He wants to be king, but right now he knows his place. And just killing Aegon wouldn't even have achieved anything. He's not even next in line. Aegon has a son, Jaehaerys. So yeah, while Aemond is definitely ambitious, and I love that, and it's gonna come in later in the story, he's not that much of a kinslayer. Chercat asks, what do you think will be the best way to introduce Daeron the Daring in Season 2? That completely depends, but usually those things are done in a way that allows the more casual audience to fully understand it. I mean, we had so many children coming into play now, with multiple timelines as well. Now the fourth child of Alicent and Viserys coming in. I think they're gonna have him come to King's Landing. If I would have to do it, I would of course show Old Town. I mean, sure, we got one version of Old Town in Game of Thrones, but this might just be the opportunity to really do it justice, to show how much of an important place this is now, with the High Towers being a main house in this show even more so. It would of course also be awesome to see some more places in the show. By the way, I'm so glad that they decided to keep him in. He's a solid guy, he's nothing like his brothers, and that will help make the Greens more sympathetic, which is very much needed. So definitely looking forward to Daeron in Season 2. Sonaris asks, do you think Aemond and Helaena are a thing in the show? I kinda touched on it before, but no, I don't think so. I think he's more like a protective big brother. He's gonna watch over Helaena, and that line in, I think it was episode 7, where he was like, he would fulfill his duty if he were Aegon. Again, I think that is just early development for him to be portrayed as this ambitious young man who wants to have what Aegon doesn't want to have, and that is a contrast between the brothers. I don't see it as like foreshadowing that he's gonna hook up with Helaena, or even worse, that Jaehaerys and Jaehaera are his kids. So no, I don't think so. Javier asks, which areas can the show improve? Quite a few. When it comes to time jumps, of course, everyone's been talking about it, and this season proved that they can trust their audience. They don't have to rely on made-up stuff, on made-up action scenes. In Season 2, they're gonna come anyway, because that season is gonna be filled with big historic events. Other than that, they could definitely focus more on secondary characters. I think it's such a pity that characters like Corlys Velaryon didn't even get to talk about the infamous voyages. That is something that just blows my mind, actually. I mean, they are working on a Corlys Velaryon spin-off show, so of course we should have gotten something at some point. It's probably gonna come in Season 2, but stuff like this just adds to the entire feel, to the storytelling of the show, which is great, by the way. And we gotta keep in mind, only the first season of the very first show. If they can take anything away from it, again, they can trust their audience, and that is very, very good. And in my opinion, they're already doing so many things better than Game of Thrones. They are way more faithful, and I don't mean to Fire and Blood, to the unreliable book, just to the overall feel of A Song of Ice and Fire, to the themes. It feels just so much more like A Song of Ice and Fire than Game of Thrones did in a long time. So yeah, I really like the show. I think they can definitely improve, but overall, I'm fine with what we got here. It's a very, very good show, and I think it's in safe hands. Soniva Soul asks, what do you think of the coronation scene before Melis? Oh, it was great. Up until the very moment you just mentioned, up until Melis came out of nowhere. But yeah, that being said, it was beautiful. It was definitely the best coronation we've seen in Westeros so far. It was really well done. I really liked that trumpet version of King's arrival, the way Aegon slowly built up the courage to the point where he lifted Blackfyre up in the air. I think it fits Aegon's character perfectly in the show. He was never really seen. Viserys was never really the loving father the way he was to Rhaenyra. And in that moment, he finally felt seen. He finally felt loved. And I really liked it. Tom Glencarney is a really good pick for Aegon. He's doing a phenomenal job so far. And I can't wait to see where this goes, where his character goes from here. Robert asks, what do you think will happen with Harold Westerling? That completely depends. We don't know if he is gonna side with Rhaenyra actually. So far we only know that he is waiting for the commands of a king. He didn't want to obey Otto, but he might just want to obey Aegon. I think it's more likely that he's gonna side with Rhaenyra, and I'm actually fine with them expanding Graham McTavish's role. He's a great actor, and I'm curious to find out what they're gonna do with him. What they're gonna do with Darklyn, who is the Lord Commander of Rhaenyra in the books. There's some very interesting stuff that happens with Darklyn, which gets me thinking if that's just gonna be Westerling's part. I can't go into it today, but we might talk about it on the podcast. I'm very curious to find out, so let's see. Jalen asks, which character are you hoping to see fleshed out more? If I can only choose one, then I will have to choose my least favorite character in the show so far, and that is Mysaria. I was hoping before a very big event in season 2, she's gonna be more interesting. I think she has all the makings for her to be interesting. You could have really spent some time developing her from pawn to player. Of course, that kind of is the result of the time jumps. We kind of just skipped through it, and now she's this big mastermind in the streets of King's Landing, to the point where she even has her own spiders within the Red Keep. I hope we're gonna spend more time with her in season 2, and I hope it's gonna be better. I mean, House of the Dragon definitely doesn't follow Game of Thrones' formula, so you could do some flashbacks. I mean, that is something completely new. Maybe you could go back and show some of that. But if I had to choose one, definitely Mysaria. Flip asks, what do you think of Alicent continuing to say that Viserys named Aegon II as heir, despite no one else believing her? Is she lying, or is she just believing what she needs to believe to justify her own actions? I think her justifying it for herself might be what's happening here. At least to me, that is what kind of came across. Olivia Cook and Sarah Hess both said that that's not the case though. They have contradicted themselves before, I'm not sure. She is definitely whitewashed in the show, same as Rhaenyra, and I personally really like Alicent in the show. I think they've handled it well overall. It would have been way worse if she really was just that angry stepmother. And this is only season 1. We have 3 more seasons for her to develop into the character that a lot of you out there want to see. The reckless version of Alicent Hightower. And war might achieve this development of her character. It's not all said and done, folks. It's just season 1. MD Hassan asks, do you think they saved Sunfire for the next season? They definitely did, and it's a pity. That is the only dragon that I was looking forward to. Of course, it's beautiful when you look at those dragons. They're doing a phenomenal job. Very colorful, very cool. All of that. And I'm so glad that they don't play this like central role where every scene needs to have a dragon. I liked how they handled it. But still, Sunfire is said to be the most beautiful dragon of all time. He would have deserved a better entrance, a better introduction, rather than having a 3-second shot from 300 miles away. And you just kind of glance over it. I don't care though, I'm not here for the dragons, I'm here for the characters. And that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, would very much appreciate that. And until then, take care and see us later.